Hello, my dear students. Welcome to all of you on my YouTube channel. So, as the thumbnail is suggesting, we are going to discuss about History Optional program. And in History Optional today, the topic that I am going to discuss with you is one of the most generalized question that strikes the mind of each and every UPSC aspirant, that what is the relevance of NCERT for the UPSC aspirants. But here we are going to discuss this particular question with a special uh, or a particular theme that is related to the history optional program. Okay, it means that history related NCERT books, what is their relevance for the history optional students. This we are going to discuss. So before I start the discussion, I will make an announcement that we are going to start our history optional program from 1st June 2025 at the most affordable fee, that is 5,999, that is displayed on the screen. So let's start the discussion now. Okay, this question must have come in your mind also, that what is the importance of NCERT books. So I think that each and every aspirant is very clear about this fact that in order to develop a good foundation, NCERT books are the most crucial books which helps in the concept building in the initial stage of the preparation. So if as a UPSC aspirant, in the beginning of your journey of preparation for the UPSC exam, if you have studied NCERT books thoroughly, it means that your concepts are very clear. And if your concepts are very clear, you will be able to grasp even the detailed portion of the syllabus in the most simple manner, in the most structured manner. So this is very clear. There is no any doubt that NCERT books are very authentic and reliable sources for your preparation. Okay. Now, when we talk about the history optional paper, we see that there are a few NCERT books that are very much important for the students. Okay, and which are these NCERT books? You all are familiar with old NCERT books that are very much popular among the UPSC aspirants. And here, the cover pages of these books are displayed. So I'm going to start first with the Ancient Indian History. This NCERT book is a book of class 11, and this is old NCERT, and this book was written by historian Ram Sharan Sharma. In the same way, the second book that is the most popular among the UPSC aspirants is Medieval India, a history textbook for class 11, and that is written by historian Satish Chandra. The third book, which is very much popular among UPSC aspirants, is Modern India. This is a history textbook for class 12s. Okay, and it was written by Bipan Chandra. And the fourth book that is also very much popular among the UPSC aspirants is Contemporary World History, a history textbook for class 12th part 1, written by Arjun Dev. So these are the four most popular books among the UPSC aspirants, not for optional paper only, but for the GS students also. I think each and every aspirant who is preparing for the UPSC exam is having all these three books. Basically, for beginning, in the beginning of preparation, generally we start with history, and in history these are the basic books that we study. Like I say in all my classes, that if we are reading history, so we must know about the historians who are writing those books. So this will give us a broader perspective, together idea about all the informations that are shared in these books. For example, here the first historian is R.S. Sharma, Ram Sharan Sharma, and all these four historians here, Ram Sharan Sharma, Satish Chandra, Bipan Chandra, and Arjun Dev, are no more. Okay, like you are seeing here on the screen. Okay, R.S. Sharma 1919 he was born. Okay, and died in the year 2011. Satish Chandra, historian Satish Chandra, born in 1922 and died in the year 2017. In the same way, okay, Bipan Chandra, born in the year 1928 and died in the year 2014. And Arjan Dev, okay, born in the year 1938 and died in the year 2020. And this year is 2025. We have entered into the year 2025. So these are old NCERT books. These are important for the GS students. These books are equally important for the optional students, optional history students. What is the reason? We need to understand. Okay. Then we will be able to get this answer that NCERT books are relevant for our history optional preparation or not. Okay. There are some other books also which are, there are some other writers also which are very much important. Okay, if you have opted for history optional. Okay, and I will also discuss about those writers later. For example, one very much popular writer is Romila Thapa. Okay, so I think that you all are familiar with Romila Thapa. Okay, a great scholar. And the second is Upinder Singh. Those students who have opted for history optional, basically for paper 1, especially section A, that is ancient and early medieval India. Okay, this book is very much relevant. Okay, so after this class you will get this answer that why this book is very much relevant. Okay, so let's start our discussion with the first historian, that is R.S. Sharma, Ram Sharan Sharma, who has written the book Ancient Indian History. Okay, so when we read NCERT book, basically that is written by Ram Sharan Sharma. So look here, two things must be kept in mind. GS students also read these NCERT books, and optional students also read these NCERT books. But as an optional student, when you read these NCERT books, your perspective will be different from those students who are reading it from the general studies perspectives. For example, when you look at the UPSC syllabus that I have discussed in my last video, okay, so when you look at the detailed part of the syllabus, especially section A, when you will start reading the topics given in the syllabus, and at the same time just compare it with the index or the chapters that are given in the R.S. Sharma Ancient Indian History book, you will find that, okay, the chronology is the same, the pattern is the same, and this book Ancient Indian History, written by R.S. Sharma, okay, deals almost more than 70% part of the syllabus that has been given in UPSC. So for this reason it is important. And when we talk about R.S. Sharma, these historians are left leaning historians. Okay, R.S. Sharma is also a left leaning historian. And why I am saying this? Because his interpretation of history is Marxist interpretation of history. When R.S. Sharma writes Ancient India, okay, so his conception of history is basically materialistic conception of history. And in materialistic conception of history, what is generally done is the maximum focus will be given on economic and social structures. And when the historian is giving maximum focus on economic and social structures, this style of writing was quite different from the style of writing that was seen earlier. Because earlier, when the historians were writing history, they were mainly focusing on the history of the rulers. They were mainly focusing on political history. But when Marxist historians will come, their main focus will shift towards economic history, social history, materialistic interpretation of history. Okay, so this is a new thing. And in R.S. Sharma book, you will find that R.S. Sharma, while writing history, he focuses on the material evidences to support the historical arguments that has been presented by him. And when we talk about material evidences, we are generally talking about potteries, inscriptions, coins. All these are the archaeological source of evidences. For example, when you will read old NCERT written by R.S. Sharma, okay, when you will read the topic Vedic culture, you will find that, okay, R.S. Sharma talks about migration of Aryans, okay, from Europe, and he also discuss that which routes were generally followed by Aryans, and how Vedic culture, who with the people, okay, who forms this Vedic culture, from where they came, this has been discussed. It means Indo-European origin has been emphasized, okay, when R.S. Sharma was writing his book. This is one thing. So this is a particular approach of a historian. I have discussed the chapters of NCERT also, and in those chapters I have discussed this topic in very much detail. Aryans, how they came to India. I've also uploaded a video on my YouTube channel, and you may watch that video, okay, to get the idea which has been reflected by R.S. Sharma. R.S. Sharma also writes about Vedic period and Vedic religion, but whenever he is writing Vedic about Vedic period religion, Vedic period society, okay, the you can say that the main structure through which he is explaining all these things is the economic structures in the society. Material, on the basis of the material evidences, on the basis of linguistic evidences, he is trying to prove his point. The second important point about this Marxist historian is that he has rejected the approach of colonial historiography. He has also rejected the approach of communal interpretation of history, or communal historiography. So that there are different branches of historiography. In separate video, I will discuss how much historiography we need to know, okay, in order to enter into this history optional syllabus. But here I am just saying, I hope you are getting my point, that I am talking about colonial historiography. Colonial historiography tends to represent India as a country which was in the dark ages. The society, the culture, everything was stagnant. This is the idea that is generally presented by the colonial historians. So R.S. Sharma rejects this viewpoint, and at the same time R.S. Sharma also rejects the idea of communal interpretation of history. Okay, in NCERT book you will read about Mahajanpada era. You will read about how early cities or the towns came into existence. Okay, in Vedic period you will read about Kaushambi, how Mahajanpadas came into existence. Okay, how second urbanization came to picture. First urbanization was Indus Valley civilization, and in Mahajanpada era we see the second urbanization came to picture. Okay, it means R.S. Sharma also explains about the early state formation and the cycle of urbanization. First cycle and second cycle, it has been explained by R.S. Sharma in a very effective manner. Okay, a state formation, Mauryan Empire, all this have been explained by R.S. Sharma, right? How Magad emerged as the center of powerful kingdom. Okay, after Mauryan Empire, what we see, R.S. Sharma again is explaining that in later Mauryan phase, what is happening, regional political dynasties came into existence, and a new feature was seen, that is called land grants. And all these things did what? They promoted feudal tendencies in the society. Okay, and here what we see, that the opinion of R.S. Sharma differs from the opinion of some other historians, because some other historians don't accept, okay, the kind of arguments that were presented by R.S. Sharma in support of the feudal tendencies. Okay, the explanation of the disintegration of a state on the basis of these feudal tendencies. Okay, for example, B.D. Chattopadhyay, R.N. Nandi also gives argument support of this. So what we see is that R.S. Sharma is writing history. Okay, and in this history book you will find good correlation between the different concepts that has been explained by him, interlinkages between each and every argument that has been supported by R.S. Sharma, right? For example, Stone Age chapter has been given, and in Stone Age prehistoric cultures, Chalcolithic cultures have been discussed, and then R.S. Sharma explains about Harappan civilization. And what we see, that while explaining Harappan civilization, R.S. Sharma incorporates, okay, and compare Indus Valley civilization with the other contemporary civilizations, okay, in a very beautiful manner. For example, with the contemporary civilizations like Mesopotamia, like Egypt, okay, all these comparisons have been done. But we miss a few points in this R.S. Sharma book. For example, uh, in R.S. Sharma NCERT book, you will not get uh, the idea about the recent excavations in Rakigadi, Farmana. Okay, obviously this book was written much earlier, so these new historical uh, developments have not been incorporated. Vedic period chapter has been written in a very beautiful manner. You can say that for optional students also, the stuff that has been given in NCERT R.S. Sharma book is sufficient to get an idea. Okay, in the same way, Mahajanpada chapter has been written in a very beautiful manner. Okay, and you can add some new stuff in Mahajanpada chapter from Upinder Singh book. In this way, you can make your preparation very easy. Okay, so all these things have been given. Mauryan Empire, Ashoka, this chapter has been explained very beautifully, right? Arthashastra, inscriptions of Ashoka, all these things have been written in detail. And this book also dealt with the post Mauryan period, later Mauryan period developments, right? Indo-Greek, Shak, Pahlav, Kushan. And while explaining Mahajanpada era 600-300 BC period, R.S. Sharma has focused on the cultural interactions of Indo-Greeks, okay, Iranians and Macedonians with the Indians. While writing later Mauryan period, R.S. Sharma has focused on the cultural interaction between ISPK and Indians. So this part has also been explained in detail. Gupta period, post-Gupta period, post-Gupta empires, this development has been incorporated. Early medieval period also, you will get important informations from this book. Okay, so this book is very much important. Okay, so when you are starting history optional courses, okay, for example, if you are planning to join any class for history optional, okay, or if you have started or if you have joined any class, you should keep one thing in your mind very clearly, that first you should cover, okay, R.S. Sharma Ancient Indian History book, because once you will do this, you will get an idea about the Marxist historiography. You will get some idea about the important archaeological evidences that has been discussed in this book, and will also get some idea about the linguistic evidences. And once your foundations are very much clear, okay, so your journey will become easier. So for paper 1, if you are starting section A, Ancient Indian History, so this book is a must read book. Okay, so this you should keep it in mind, that this book, R.S. Sharma Ancient India, is a must read book. We cannot skip this book. But the second question is that, is this book alone sufficient? It means this book caters the needs for paper 1, right? This will cater the need for paper 1 section A. But the second question is that, is this book sufficient enough to cater the needs of your optional paper? Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, it will cover 50, 60 or almost 70% part of your syllabus, but you will have to do some additions. These additions will be done in our classes, but here what will be the addition? So the additions will be from this book, A History of Ancient and Early Medieval India, and that is written by Upinder Singh, right? And this book is very much popular among the UPSC aspirants, okay, in history optional preparation. Even in general studies in prelims exam, now UPSC is asking 1 or 2 questions every year from this book. So this book is also very much useful for you. Okay, so if you are a history optional students, okay, this book is also a must read book. Now, what approach of R.S. Sharma? I've already discussed that, Marxist historiography. Okay, and the what is the approach of Upinder Singh? Okay, so when Upinder Singh writes a book, so you will see that, okay, basically this is not heavily influenced by Marxist historiography. So the writer is having a very pragmatic approach. Okay, ideological biases are not seen. Okay, and sees a critique of extreme Marxist ideology. This is also a critique of extreme nationalist ideology, right? So this is a good thing. So you will find that a balanced approach have been given here. When Upinder Singh writes this book, so the main focus, for example, while explaining the concepts or the arguments in history, see, takes help of archaeological evidences, inscriptions, numismatics, and literary sources, right? So here the main focus has been given on archaeological data also, and for that reason, those students who are preparing for UPSC optional, okay, they see a lot of informations here, okay, because I have told you earlier that here the focus is on archaeological data also, and archaeological data has been incorporated in large numbers. So this makes the nature of the book a little bit difficult, okay, but we should make it clear that we don't need to remember all the facts that are given in this book, okay. So we have to be choosy here, we have to do selective reading, clear. And we see that there are a few points where Upinder Singh and Arish Sharma opinion differs, okay. If you'll observe very minutely, you will find that the book that has been written by Arish Sharma, okay, Ancient Indian History, okay, NCERT book, this is the platform, the structure on which this book has been written. You will find that the structure is the same, but you will find that there are some points where the opinion or the arguments of the historians differ, okay. So what are those points where the opinion or arguments of the historians differ? This also we need to understand, okay. So for example, okay, state formation in ancient India has been explained by R.S. Sharma in a different manner, and state formation in ancient India has been explained by Upinder Singh in a different manner, right? Upinder Singh also explains, also challenges. Previously, the idea was given that in India, the state system or the political system, their emergence, their existence was very much peaceful. But Upinder Singh challenges this idea, and here she incorporates the role of war and coercion, right? And extremist Marxist views has been challenged, okay, and extreme nationalist glorification. This idea has also been challenged. For example, ancient India as a golden age. This idea is guided by the nationalist glorification. So this idea has been challenged by Upinder Singh, okay. And you will find that in R.S. Sharma, when R.S. Sharma explains about how this Varna and Jati evolved, okay, so you will find that R.S. Sharma talks about rigid social hierarchies that were seen in ancient Indian history. But when Upinder Singh writes about Varna and Jati, okay, she explains it like evolving institutions in ancient India. And in this book, the main focus was also concentrated on the role of women, on the role of tribal societies, okay, and and the second important point, for example, gender perspective has also been one of the most important part in Upinder Singh book. For example, if you read the topic Buddhism and Jainism from this book, you will find that gender perspective, for example, okay, Buddha, okay, and the Buddhist thoughts about the status of women, okay, on the basis of evidences she's trying to explain, right? So this is one of the most important part in this book. So this book, A History of Ancient and Early Medieval India, this book is also a must read book. So NCERT book, yes, that is important. You have to start with NCERT book, Arish Sharma book. If you are a GS student also, this book NCERT Arish Sharma is a must read book for all of you, okay. So you must add this book in your checklist of must read books in the journey of UPSC preparation. Now the second book that is also very much popular among the UPSC aspirant is for medieval India, okay. The GS students also read this book, a history textbook for class 11, and that is medieval India. And this book has been written by Satish Chandra, and I have already explained that Satish Chandra is also a left leaning historian. Okay, so this book is also a must read book. Okay, so when you read Satish Chandra book, what you find that this book also presents a comprehensive comprehensive view, a balanced outlook, a secular outlook. Okay, and the socio-economic approach which has been highlighted in this book is very much useful for your exam. And why I am saying this? Because UPSC exam requires an analytical approach. Okay, UPSC exam requires, okay, the balanced idea or the balanced thought. UPSC exam requires, okay, that the student should be able to do interlinkages between the different topics. A student should be able to do a good comparative analysis, okay, between the different developments in the history. And in this book we find that this comparative and analytical approach has been used while explaining the concepts of history. Okay, so before reading this book, if you are a student of history optional, like I have explained each and every topic given in the syllabus of UPSC, so you should keep your syllabus on one side, and on second side you should keep the index of the chapters that are given in Satish Chandra book. Okay, so you'll find that there is a similarity. Okay, so the chronological order, the sequences, the topics that have been given in UPSC, you will find that are very much similar to the topics that are given in the Satish Chandra book. And this book is also having the influence of Marxist historiography. Okay, it means socio-economic interpretation of history is one of the most important part. And in this socio-economic interpretation, the main focus of historian will be on the explanation of the social structures, and these social structures will be explained on the basis of agrarian economy, economic history. When it will be given more importance, so obviously, okay, the state system and its taxation policies will also be given prominence while explaining the concepts. Okay, so Delhi Sultanate period, Mughal rule period has been explained in such a manner. And when we talk about medieval Indian history, we see that there is always there is one part of historiography that is called communal historiography, right? And in this communal historiography, what we see that, okay, this historiography tends to promote the idea that the interests of Hindus and Muslims were entirely opposite to each other, right? And medieval India, okay, brought disgrace to the Indian society. This is the general idea that is displayed in the communal historiography. So what is the approach of Satish Chandra to the communal historiography? So Satish Chandra largely rejects this idea of communal historiography. Okay, so communal historiography is portraying the idea that medieval age was a age of Hindu-Muslim conflict. But Satish Chandra, while writing history, he will try to project this thing that medieval India was not the age of conflict between Hindus and Muslims, but this was the age where cultural interaction was seen between Hindus and Muslims, right? And the same has been explained with the help of Bhakti and Sufi traditions also. That the nature of the Bhakti and Sufi traditions was syncretic. Okay, so this has been explained by Satish Chandra, right? Now Satish Chandra also talks about the political system, okay, that was present in Delhi Sultanate period and Mughal period. So in Delhi Sultanate period, he explains Ikta system, and while explaining Ikta system, he compares this model with the feudal model that was present in Europe. So this is one point. Okay, so we see that uh, when you read this Satish Chandra book, okay, so you will get an idea that how Marxist historians tend to represent history. Okay, what is their main focus? They are focusing on economic structures, they are focusing on administrative structures. In state, they are focusing on the economic policies of the state. Okay, so this will be very much useful. Plus, okay, we all know that The basic purpose of reading history is what? We must be familiar, okay, with our Indian culture. And Indian culture is uh, basically, its inherent nature is it's multicultural, right? We always welcomed different cultures, okay, that came to India. They became part of India, okay. So when you read this book, okay, this book and the kind of history that has been written in this book, okay, is in sync with the secular outlook and multicultural spirit that has been given in our constitution. So that is why these books are very much important, right? So balanced approach means what? Okay, we should keep ourselves away from the prejudices. We should keep ourselves away from our personal likes and dislikes whenever we are talking about any historical personality, right? So Satish Chandra book is an excellent book in this concept, okay, because you all know that when we talk about medieval Indian history, there is a great debate in Indian society, okay. People are basically divided into two groups. Some think that, okay, the coming of Muslims brought disgrace to the Indian society, but we all know that, like other foreign groups that came to India, they settled in India. Muslims also came to India, they settled in India and they became Indians, right? Mughal rulers also, when they ruled India, all the structures that they have built is in India, right? What British did, okay, they came to India as foreigners and they always remained aliens or the foreigners, but the same is not true with the Mughal rulers, okay. So this is the beauty of our culture, okay. So we must read Satish Chandra NCERT book. This will give us a good idea about the socio-economic and political system of medieval India. This will give us a good idea about the different class structures that are seen in the medieval Indian society. This will also gives us a very good idea about the agrarian economy that was seen in the medieval Indian period, and this will also gives us a very good idea about the state policies that were seen during the Delhi Sultanate period rulers and the Mughal period rulers. We can also get an idea about what was the relation between the elite class and the peasantry class, okay. We can also get important ideas about Mansabdari system, Zagirdari system, right? We could get the idea about the Ikta system, okay? And this communal interpretation of history, which is biased and is based on the Muslim tyranny theory, is also rejected. So obviously, this will promote peace and harmony in our society. Hindus and Muslims both are brothers, okay? We are the components of the same society, so we should always have faith and confidence in each other, right? We should not treat one another as the aliens. British were foreigners, they always remained foreigners, okay, but the permanent association of Muslims with India, right, it started, and later now the Muslims are Indians, okay. There is no any doubt. After partition, after independence of India 1947, okay, many Muslims decided to settle in India, okay. So obviously India is their motherland, right? So this Muslim tyranny theory is rejected in Satish Chandra book. Now, the third book that is very much important for the UPSC aspirants is Bipan Chandra, again old NCERT, modern Indian history, right? So as I have explained earlier that Bipan Chandra, this book, okay, the writer is left-leaning historian. So here the historiography that was used in what is what? It's a kind of Marxist historiography. But the one most important part about Bipan Chandra is that, okay, he is a Marxist historian, but okay, he is a Marxist historian, but he is also nationalist in tone. Why we are calling him a Marxist historian? At the same time he was a nationalist in tone, okay, there are various reasons for this. For example, colonial historiography, okay, will try to project this thing that British rule in India was a boon for the Indian people, right? British were on a civilization mission, and all the social, political, you can say that constitutional or the administrative institutions that were developed in India, all were developed by the British. This idea has been presented by the colonial historians, but this idea has been rejected by Bipan Chandra because, okay, Bipan Chandra does what? For example, in national struggle of independence, we see there were some early economic critique who exposed that how British are draining the economic resources from India. For example, Dadabhai Naoroji, okay, wrote about drain theory of wealth, that how British are doing economic exploitation of Indian people, right? How they are draining Indian economic resources to Britain. Okay, the same idea has been emphasized by the Bipan Chandra. It means he has done historical researches and he rebuilds the same argument, and he is trying to explain that this colonial system of administration was basically doing exploitation of India. It was ensuring deindustrialization of India. The decline of handicrafts was done as a result, and India, which was once a time one of the greatest exporters of the world, now it was completely transformed into the importers of the manufactured goods and the exporter of the raw material. And this shows the nationalist tone in this historian. And when Bipan Chandra explains the Indian national movement, we see that there is also one stream that is called subaltern historiography. So in the next video, I will come with this part, okay, the basic idea of historiography and how much historiography we need to know to cover the history optional syllabus. I will also record a separate video on the same topic, right? So colonial historians, okay, explain that during Indian national movement, Indian political parties were fighting with each other. For what? It was a power tussle among the Indian political parties. They were fighting among each other to gain power and supremacy. And India got independence as a result of British benevolence. This idea was presented forward by the colonial historians. But Bipan Chandra rejects this idea. Bipan Chandra says that no, the Indian national movement and the independence of India is a result of, okay, our national struggle for freedom, where the moderates and extremist phase helped a lot in ensuring the independence of India, right? So he has explained in a very detailed manner the role of the moderates, the role of the extremists, the role of the revolutionaries, and he also has dedicated a particular phase of history, that is from 1919-20 to 1947, as the Gandhian phase in Indian national movement, right? And Gandhian phase was basically based on mass mobilization techniques. Gandhian phase, okay, when Gandhi was fighting with the British, so his struggle was based on the constructive approach, constructive program, as well as the idea of, okay, non-violence. And Bipan Chandra explains that, okay, the idea of non-violence that was promoted by Gandhi was a tactical idea. It was not purely moral, it was tactical. So the idea of non-violence was a tactical strategy of Gandhi to fight against the colonial rule in India. This also has been explained by him, right? And I have said it earlier that again, this Marxist historian will do what? He will reject the communal historiography, okay? And I have told you earlier that communal historiography will try to promote communalism, right? That the interests of Hindus and Muslims are completely and entirely different from each other. But Bipan Chandra, okay, rejects this idea. Bipan Chandra rejects the two nation theory, okay? And Bipan Chandra says that the idea that was promoted as the idea of communalism in India is only a false consciousness, right? The you can see that the Hindus and Muslims, right? There was a hatred, and this hatred, okay, was promoted. It was promoted by Muslim League, and all this was done, okay, by the British efforts. So it was Hindus and Muslims, they were not enemies of each other, but what the colonial policies did, okay, in order to ensure the perpetuity of the colonial rule in India, they did what? They promoted this kind of enmity among the Hindus and Muslims. Okay, see, opposes. So what we see that Bipan Chandra opposes the narratives that were presented by the Hindu communal parties and the Muslim communal parties. And he has written almost all these writers have written. Okay, there are a long list of books written by these writers. But for you, in the beginning stage of preparation, you must read NCERT books, old NCERT books, right? Even it is a part of syllabus or not. Okay, if you want to make a good balanced analytical approach about the Indian history, you must read the history books that are written by these particular scholars. And in this series, the next scholar is, okay, Arjun Dev, right? Again, we all know that the book that we read, okay, is a world history book that was written by Arjun Dev. So this book is also one of the excellent book. So what I mean to say here is that even if you are going to start, okay, your history optional course, so what you should do, you should first ensure one thing, and that is what, that you must read NCERT books multiple times, right? I have not compared here the indexes, the chapters given in NCERT books and the syllabus given in UPSC. I will do it in a separate video. But the only message that I want to convey is that these books are the must read books. Okay, even if you are preparing for general studies, you have to read these books. If you have decided that you are going to opt history as your optional paper, so you must read these books. Okay, and in that case, if you are a history optional student, okay, the perspective with which you will be reading these books will be completely different, because before entering into this book, you must have a basic understanding about different schools of history, like Marxist history, history in India, colonial history, communal history, subaltern history. Okay, so you must have a basic understanding about different schools of history, and then you will be able to grasp these topics, right? So I will discuss a few more things with you. Okay, but again, I am sharing this information with you that we are going to start our history optional course from 1st June 2025, and at the most affordable fee, that is 5,999, you can join our courses. Okay, so you will get 300 plus hours of classes here, plus these classes will be in live mode. And how I will help you in your history optional preparation? Okay, so on the basis of these NCERT books, we will do a foundational level of preparation. First, we are going to start with NCERT books, and during the lectures, I will incorporate further additions from the different sources. It means that you don't need to read different books altogether, because what is the role of a good teacher? A good teacher helps you in narrowing down the resources. It means that I will not suggest you a long list of books कि ये सारा कुछ पढ़ लो, right? You can do it for your self study. But if you are joining my courses, okay, you will read NCERT books, that these will be the most important books. Okay, and in class notes, what I will do, for example here, okay, NCERT Ancient India R.A. Sharma book. So this is to be read with a history of ancient and early medieval India, Upinder Singh book. Okay, so all important debates that are needed for our exam, I will incorporate in my class lecture. So you might purchase this book, but you will have to do a selective reading from this book, and that too I will discuss in my classes, right? So in the same way, for medieval India also, apart from these NCERT books, okay, there are some additional stuff. Okay, in another video I will discuss the sources that I will cover in my optional program, the other books that I'm going to cover in my optional program. In world history also I will discuss. Okay, so I think that, okay, uh, one thing has become clear. Okay, this should be uh, this should be taken it for granted that you cannot skip NCERT books even for the history optional preparation. If you will do this, okay, your foundations will not be strong. Okay, so read NCERT books, okay, as many times as you can. Okay, and read it in a proper manner, right? So this is to be done. Okay, so this discussion is all about this. Okay, so I will come with some other videos where I will discuss that historiography, how much historiography we need to know to cover our history optional paper, this will be covered in other videos. So obviously, what is the answer? Yes, there is the relevance of NCERT history books for the history optional preparation also. Thanks to all of you. And if you want to get regular updates of our courses, of our classes, and if you want to get the access to the free videos that I share on my YouTube channel, you can like the channel and you can subscribe the channel. In this way, you will get the regular updates of my courses, as well as you will get the free access to all the videos that I share on my YouTube channel. Thanks to all of you.